Thank you, Mayor Bond.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up is Doug from the county, and he's going to talk a little bit about the trail line.
Sean kind of stole my thunder.
Yes,
It's
sorry,
okay,
Doug.
But I'll just be really quick. This has been changing quickly. I did this PowerPoint yesterday, and as Sean mentioned, things have changed already. But what I wanted to talk about is we did a feasibility analysis for the Heber Creeper line to have rail with trail. This was done several years ago. And the reason I put this on the agenda about a month ago, I was trying to come up with some matching funds to apply for a grant. It was a 50-50 match. Our hope was to get $100,000 and do some engineering for this portion that would run It would run from the Heber Creeper Depot to the Soldier Hollow platform out here. And it would be a rail line in the easement. For the most part, this easement's around 100 feet wide. So we wanted to do some engineering on that so we would have somewhat of a shovel-ready project. That if we did get some funding, we could start applying it, even if it was only to do a portion of it. You know, if it was $500,000 or whatever. It's an expensive portion of trail with the bridges over Coble River and Snake Creek. But that was one thing I wanted to update you on. The time is, the window's closed on that funding option, but you know, we're going to keep trying on that. The other thing was what Sean talked about with the Provo Canyon Trail. The next slide. As Sean said, you go to Vivian Park and then it stops. Vivian Park to the west goes all the way to the Murdoch Canal and all the way to Utah Lake. We're missing this gap here in the middle, and if we can, as UDOT and other agencies have come together with about $4.4 million in funding, the idea is that will be completed from Vivian Park to the dam. It's already completed just past Horseshoe Bend. Let's go to the next one. So here's Vivian Park. That would be completed up to this point here, and from here we've got an asphalt trail that goes all the way up to the dam. And I think the idea is the design and permitting starts hopefully this year, and then construction could be 2019. Is that what we're thinking? So kudos to UDOT for helping us out there and getting the connection up to the dam. And then from the dam, as you're aware, we have a trail that goes all the way to Soldier Hollow. And then hopefully eventually we look at some additional funding to do the portion from Soldier Hollow to the Heber Creek Depot. So that's all I have.
Thank you. All right. Next is Eric Funker. There's a little bit of an update on the mining application of Mount Penn.
I'll be moving faster. I just wanted to make everybody aware of a major mining operation that's expanding up in the Daniel Canyon. And I really thought the county was the one that would permit that, but as I find out as we're going through this, that it's actually in the town of Independence. And so there's nothing that would trigger UDOT to look at that, as that can expand to over 60 acres. And that mine pit that's up there, Staker Parsons has put that permit in with the state. So we'll be working with Independence trying to get them to see if they'll trigger that. What I'm worried about is those trucks and that increase as they come out, they pull out in front of those crude trucks and we could have a disaster. And if that gets down to that Daniel Creek, there's no access along that creek for cleanup. So it'd probably get clear to the lake before anybody could stop it. So I just wanted to make you aware of that, and that's all I have.
Thanks. All right. So just before we adjourn, do we have kind of a consensus on this Heber Valley Arts Center and its location, and to go forward with the schematic design? Is that a yes or a no from this committee? Where are we on that as far as, you know, they went through the process, they did all that they, you know, were kind of asked to do by the councils and those of us that kind of put together that coalition. And so just, you know, for next Tuesday's meeting, is that kind of do we have a consensus of this committee or this group that we're in support of that and, or want that to at least go forward to the schematic design process? Yeah, I'm thinking I kind of want to.
I guess they can go ahead. We're not in a position to authorize any expenditure of funds. for
No
that.
expenditure of funds, just because we don't know the cost of it. So, but do we want it to go forward to at least get it to that point to find out what
You know,
that?
I've attended a lot of these meetings. And
Yeah, you've been part of that. Why don't you give us
I think David's been very thorough on what he's asking, and his presentations and everything, he's been very thorough. And they did have, he's organized several committees. One of them was to look at the location. They did look at a lot of areas around the valley. And so I think they've done their homework. And if we ask questions and look into it and see what has been done, I think we may agree that they may have selected one of the best sites for this.
I'd certainly be in support of us taking it a step further and see how it plays out as far as our proposed cost. And I think a lot of it has to do with whether we support it or not. I personally have been on that committee, coalition, whatever you want to call it. And I think they've done a pretty good job as far as Mr. Tu is very thorough and has done a good job as far as leading that committee. I'd like to see it go through.
you have your hand up.
I have just a comment or concern or whatever. I hear Ryan talking about some of the main issues that have been identified in our county are the impacts to policing. There's too many people up here on a lot of days. And I don't, they talked about having a concentrated area. It seems to me like one of my frustrations from the public point of view is we've got all kinds of auditoriums and assembly places and meeting places, and certainly we have a high school, it takes care of cowboy poetry right now, but we've got an auditorium for 900 people. If they're trying to build one that's 900 to 1,000, we've already got one. And I think there's more value to our community overwide, even if we want to attract and be a place to come for even the arts, to have them in different venues, not all in one place, especially for purposes of the traffic congestion, policing, all that kind of stuff. We're talking about adding 250 people in the middle of Swiss days, in the middle of cowboy poetry, in the middle of those. Are we just not going to use it those days? Of course they'll want to have it, because we've already got a draw of people that will come to their event. But I have some concerns if it's almost like we got too many people wanting to come here. It isn't a problem, we're bringing more.
I will say that I think the high school would love cowboy poetry to get out.
Yeah, I think part of the challenge is we are outgrowing some of the small venues that we have. I know that our buildings here are being used to capacity, the town hall and this community
So
center.
what's the venue projected for this they want to do? I mean, how many are they looking at?
And that's part of the details, Ron, that we don't have all the numbers exactly on, and that's why we're kind of at that next phase to go into that schematic design and look at it. And it's out of my pay scale as far as all of that too. But Laurie.
I serve on that committee as well, and they're looking at the larger auditorium being about a maximum of 750.
What's been the public comment feedback in regards to the development?
Well, there's been some positive. I've received some positive. There's been some negative, probably more on the negative. And I think more of the negative is because there hasn't really been a actual clarification to the